Hi guys, I'm Ashley. This page is Dandy Thrifting. I am starting a brand new business with clothing reselling. I am also going to explore some furniture reselling, so you'll see some videos with that upcoming. But I just finished my first full month in reselling. I'm only selling on the Poshmark app right now, and then if there's furniture items, I'm selling it on Facebook Marketplace. But I just did my first July income recap video, and for a brand new YouTube page, was really excited to see lots of people coming in and subscribing and showing their support in the comments. And I get it because I enjoy watching the income videos too. As someone that's just starting out in this business, I enjoy seeing what's possible and seeing the behind the scenes. And I really just appreciate the realistic numbers too. Like, I love watching the accounts that are making, six-figure salaries, making five, six, $7,000 a month. And when you're starting out, like, what is more realistic? Like, I want to know. So that's why I was excited to share that. And at the end of my July recap video, I did talk a little bit about what my overall goals are for my reselling business in terms of how much money I want to make. And that's actually at the very end of that video. So I will link the July recap video probably at the end of this one so that you can easily get to it. But I wanted to just do a really short video, really quick, highlighting for you what my overall strategy and goals are for the reselling business so that that information is not buried in another video. So I think this will be really quick and simple. So I've been doing a little bit of research to try to understand like what's possible. And what I'm trying to do is bring in $3,000 of net profit. I paused because I always get confused between net and gross no matter how many times. Hold on, let's do a quick Google search. Hold on. Gross income is the total amount of money earned before any deductions, seller fees, taxes, etc. Net income is the actual amount left over after subtracting taxes, benefits, expenses, etc. So, I say I want to make $3,000 in monthly net income, but that's not totally accurate because I'm actually not considering taxes in that number, which just because like that's just I'm just letting that be like part two. Like part one is seller fees, cost of goods, get $3,000 put into my bank account. And then part two is separate out 20 to 30% of that for being able to pay your taxes. That's a whole other conversation. So $3,000 going into my pocket before taxes. There you go. That's what I'm trying to do. So I was doing a little research to figure out how many items do I need to sell, the average profit margin, how many items do I need to have in my shop, in my closet to be able to sell that much. So this is all based on research that I'm finding from either other resellers or from Google. So we'll see if this is true, but time will tell. So I'm going to kind of work it backwards. So my goal is 3,000. Now, here's the issue. The average profit margin really impacts how many listings I need to have in my closet or in my shop and how many listings I need to sell every month. Because if the average profit margin is higher, I don't need to sell as many. If it's lower, I need to sell a lot more, right? Pretty obvious, but making my points clear here. So I did run the numbers with two hypotheticals to give myself a little bit of a range. They say that the gods, the expert resellers that have populated the information on Google, they say that you can expect 10 to 15% of your active listings to sell every single month. The nuance there is, are you actually sourcing product that people want to buy? And sometimes there's a learning curve involved there, but your goal is that 10-15% of your closet is selling every single month. Okay, so where to start? I'm just starting with 10%. I'm like, all right, let's go with 10% if I'm targeting 10% of my listings to sell. Okay, hold on. Let me see. How do I want to say this? I've got it all written here in a little notebook. All right, guys. And again, there's so much nuance, so I got to kind of spell it out for you. let's say that my average profit margin per item is $18. Okay, so let me give you an example. If I bought that t-shirt at the Goodwill bins and I spent $2 on it and I sold it for $20. 20 minus 2 is 18. That's the profit margin. That's not the best example because Poshmark takes a listing fee. Let's say it takes $3. So I would need to sell that item for $23. So I would sell it for $23 to the customer. Poshmark takes $3. My cost of goods is $2. That leaves me with $18 going into my pocket. That's the profit margin. Okay, so say each item on average sold for $18 of profit. If I sold 166 listings, that would get me to $3,000. Okay, 166 times the 18 would get me to the $3,000 I want in my pocket. If that's true, and I need to sell 10% of my closet every month, then I need 1,000. Let's do the math. Hold on. Because remember, 10%. Now I want to sell 166 items. That means 166 items is going to be the 10%. So I need a really big shopping closet. So 166. Oh, I did that wrong. Hold on. Math. It's been a while since my last math class, guys. Yeah. Okay, so reversed it. So 166 listings sold divided by 10% is 1,660 listings. That's how I reverse engineered this backwards. This is if I am getting $18 in profit margin per item. Okay, so that's a lot of listings. Okay, I need to put over 1,600 listings in my Poshmark closet to sell 10% of them, to sell 166 listings at the average of $18 per and profit per item to get me the $3,000 I'm looking for. Okay, so what do we do? That's a lot. Well, what if we can increase the profit margin? If my average profit margin is $28, okay, so let's say Poshmark is taking $6 from this sale, and let's say again that it's the $2 t-shirt that I got at the bins. It's just a nicer brand, okay? More desirable for some reason. So my $2 cost of goods, the $6 that Poshmark is going to take, and I want $28 still. So 28 plus 8, 36. I need to sell the item for $36. Poshmark takes 6, my cost of goods is 2, that leaves me with $28 going into my pocket. If this is just rough numbers, right? These are just like, I'm just throwing numbers out here to try to figure out what do I need to do to make this happen. Okay, so let's go up 10. Instead of $18 in average profit, let's say I want $28 in average profit per item. Then I only need to sell 107 listings to get $3,000. Okay, it's simple math. I've got my calculator up on my computer. 107 times $28 is $2,996. This is giving me the $3,000 I want in my pocket. Okay, so if I have to sell 107 listings every single month, that target goal of 10% of my closet selling every month, then how many listings do I need to have in my closet to get that? 107 divided by 10%, 1,070. Okay, so 1,070 listings in my closet, in my shop, so that I can sell 107 of them at my average profit margin of $28 to get $3,000 going into my pocket. At the end of the day, some items are going to have a $5 profit, some are going to have a $50 profit. It's all over the place, but we're targeting an average that will help us understand what's worth picking up at the thrift store to resell and what's not, based on brand, based on style, etc. And so what I realized pretty quickly is I need to increase my profit margin per item, and let's just try to get 1,000 listings in my shop to get the $3,000. the other thing I'm keeping in mind is that I'm starting a brand new business, so there's learning curve. There's learning curve in which there's stores I should be thrifting at and how often I need to be going there and how many listings can I really get up in my shop every single day based on my life and all my other responsibilities, what's realistic for me. Also learning what brands to pick up and what brands are worth reselling. There's some brands I obviously know about, like Patagonia, but then there's some nice brands that I don't really know about because I'm not necessarily like a brand name shopper personally. So there's a big learning curve for me there. And then style-based pickups feel like something I can probably do. I think I have enough of a pulse on what's going on out there. And also it's a little bit of a risk because you can't lean on the brand name that people are searching for. You have to then lean on your ability to get really nice photos and put the right keywords in there that people are looking for and that it's the right style people really want. So I'm saying all that to say there's a learning curve involved here to get up to $28 of average profit margin per item. Right now I'm definitely not there. And so we got to work towards it, but we got to start somewhere. We got to have some numbers or some sort of smart, tangible goal to help us track towards something. Otherwise, we're floating. Okay. This is one of the benefits this is one of the important aspects of strategic goal settings. Make sure that it's a smart, tangible goal, something that you can work towards, and considering all the nuances. So that's what's going on for me. I am trying to get 1,000 listings up in my shop. And in the month of July, which was my very first month on Poshmark, I did get almost exactly 100 listings, maybe a few. I think it was like 106 listings. I sold 10 items, so at the end of the month I had basically 99 listings in my shop. I was really stoked that I added that many in 1 month. And then I did sell 10% of what I had because I had ended the month with 100 listings and I did sell 9 or 10 items. So I hit the average 10% sold, which I was really excited about. I don't know what my average sale price was because it's my first 30 days. I'm honestly just like, I'm happy to sell anything. If I sold it, I'm excited because that means I just listed it in my shop and I'm picking up something that people want. So you have to kind of calibrate what your wins are based on the stage of the game that you're at. And my wins are if I've sold something and if I have any profit at all, it is a win. Something I am doing to try to ensure that I have a strong profit margin while I'm learning about brands and styles to resell and how long it takes for something to resell. I am shopping primarily at the Goodwill bins or the Goodwill outlet or second edition store, which is where you can buy clothing based on its weight and you can get it for a lot cheaper. So my average cost per item, both times that I've gone to the Goodwill bins, was $1.42 and $1.43 per item was my average. So with that, you can make a profit, right? So that's where I'm at. That's my goal. Wanted to clue you guys in. I will be sharing lots of fun videos like vlogs and behind the scenes and my income and how things are going and what's selling. I plan to be very active here. I'm really grateful for the people that are subscribing and that are commenting and sharing their feedback. I receive it all. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video. It is middle of August right now, and we are in what they call the summer slowdown. I started amidst the summer slowdown, and I'm really grateful that July was as good as it was for all things considered, starting a new business. August is super, super slow. So I'm using it as an opportunity to just get a little bit more organized with my inventory spreadsheet and like the pile of clothes. You can see behind me the pile of clothes that still needs to be photographed and listed, and just getting a little bit more organized in the back end. So using the time wisely elsewhere. And even though it is the summer slowdown, I am really grateful to be starting right now because I'm getting like my feet wet. I'm like figuring out like what my flow is before we get into the holidays and what I assume is going to be a heavier buying season. Excuse me, ma'am. Thank you. So with all that being said, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.